Hey guys, Ronnie here. It is Friday, podcast day, and I totally forgot. I didn't forget that Friday was podcast day, but I forgot today was Friday. I'm just in one of those weeks. It's been a little bit crazy. I don't know if you saw yesterday's post, but I spent the day in New York yesterday with this awesome Weight Watcher event, and I got to meet Tim Gunn, and it was really, really fun, but it's thrown me all off schedule. So it is Friday, and I did make it. I'm a little late. It's kind of dusky out, so my coloring's all weird. Wait, I gotta do this. That might help a little bit. And the little guy is home from school, so we may get interrupted. I just want to warn you, but I tried to slink away for a half an hour. So I'm going to get right to questions and not carry on like I normally do this week. Again, I'm going to do what I've been doing, which is one newer question and then a few from the archives. I'm really starting to catch up now, so it's exciting. I'm only back like 6 months, I think, or, well, 7 months instead of like over a year, which made me feel really guilty. The first one's a few weeks ago, and it's from Corey. And Corey says, "Hey there, I'm so happy to have stumbled across you. I, too, had a tummy tuck to remove extra skin from babies, twins, now 16, and a 5-year-old. I also had a breast lift. Love both of the surgeries. However, I still need to lose more weight, about 25 pounds. My question is this. There are so many plans to choose from, I get overwhelmed. I have done Weight Watchers before, but I ended up filling my points with junk. Now it's changed, I think. I would like Weight Watchers better." Wait, I'm sorry. Now it's changed, and I think I would like Weight Watchers better. Is that how you lost your weight? Any advice would be great. Thanks. Lost in the diet world. Corey. Okay, Corey. Congratulations on. I can imagine having a 16-year-old, let alone 16-year-old twins, and being pregnant myself right now. I'm so not in that. I don't know. I can't think that far ahead. In a way, it's really weird. I think a lot of people feel your frustration with trying to find a plan. So, and I'm going to assume you're a fairly new reader because you said you stumbled across my site, so you may not know my story, but in a nutshell, I did lose my weight following Weight Watchers, but I did it following the old plan. Going on now 5 years, is it right? Is it? No, I'm heading into my 6th year, which is blowing my mind right now. Yeah, so it's been 5.5 years or so. So it was a long time ago. Weight Watchers has changed their plan. I can't really speak too much. I don't speak for Weight Watchers, but from what I can tell, I haven't followed the plan yet, and I've been reading more and more about it and getting kind of more familiar with it because I plan on following it once I have this baby. But they changed their whole formula, so it is completely different. And I think some of the changes that they've made have been to guide people to make healthier choices. And like you said, the first time you're on Weight Watchers, you kind of lean towards the junk versus the good choices. All of that being said, I think, finding a plan that works for you is going to take a combination of things. And here's, just my opinion. I think the reason why Weight Watchers worked for me 5 years ago and kind of helped me get out of that yo-yo dieting cycle was because it was easy and it made sense. It was intuitive. There was something about it that just kind of clicked. But I also think I was in the right mindset. I was ready. I had different goals. And I talk a lot about this on the site, and you can kind of scour my archives for it. But prior to doing Weight Watchers and prior to my first son, I was always kind of on this journey of trying to find skinny. I wanted to be skinny, I wanted to be thin, I wanted to be a size 6, or, I had this picture in my mind of what I was going to look like. And when I tried to pursue that picture, I always failed. It didn't matter what plan I was. It could have been Weight Watchers, it could have been South Beach, it was Atkins, it was the grapefruit diet, it was popping Xenadrin pills. I tried it all, believe me. But what really changed was my goals and my attitude and my motivations all changed from wanting to be skinny to really wanting to learn balance and good habits and kind of getting out of the cycle. I couldn't take it anymore. So my intentions behind the plan were different. So I like to make sure that I really think that most plans work. So I like to make sure that people kind of know that I think the biggest factor on whether or not you're going to succeed on a weight loss plan is whether or not you're going in with the right mindset. If you're going in with, I'm going to just lose 25 pounds, let me do this quick fix really fast, and I'll just count points for a couple weeks and it'll be great, and then I'll just go back to my old habits. you're probably going to end up in that cycle again. So, all of that being said, I am still a fan of Weight Watchers. I haven't yet embraced the new plan only because I really haven't been able to dive in, and I really just don't want to mess with any dieting things while I'm pregnant. I know my history and I know myself pretty well, so I'm avoiding it altogether. And then, once the baby comes, I'll be able to give my opinion better on how it feels to kind of follow the New Points Plus concept. But I mean, really, it's worth a shot, as long as you're going in the right attitude. I also think, there's a lot of different approaches you can take. So I don't really have an answer for you. I mean, I answered your question, and I just glanced back at your question, which is, how did you lose your weight? It was Weight Watchers, but it was definitely the old plan. So I think going into any plan, any reputable, healthy, balanced eating plan, with the right intention and motivation, that you're changing your lifestyle versus a quick fix, I think you'll be successful. I think nowadays we know so much about how we're supposed to be eating that a lot of the plans, it's really a matter of finding something that meets your lifestyle and your learning style and something that you can embrace that makes sense to you and doesn't feel so overwhelming. You have to find a plan that doesn't feel overwhelming, something that you can stick to. Okay, I'm going to move on. And my nose is running. And I'm out of breath because I can't even talk without being out of breath. Tomorrow I'm 28 weeks. It's craziness. Okay, deep breath. The next question is from Heather. Now, this is one from last year. And Heather says, I am scared that I may be developing an eating disorder. I've had people close to me say it for months, but I just don't know how to add in the extra calories when I exercise and train. If I do not have a formula for it, I have a hard time doing it. I realize that I have developed some issues, but I am in constant fear of gaining 130 pounds back. Do you have any advice? Did you ever cross this line or come close when you were training? Okay, Heather, first of all, you lost 130 pounds. That's unbelievable. Oh my God, exciting, and just congratulations. It's such a huge accomplishment. And you're not going to gain 130 pounds overnight. You do know that, right? You do know that no matter what you do, you're not going to wake up tomorrow. Because I know this is the mentality I struggled with. Especially in the beginning, I kind of had this fear that, one party or something, I would wake up and, it would all come back on. And it doesn't happen that way. That's not to say that you shouldn't have, a little bit of, it's easy for us to have one day roll into the next and then have weeks and months go by, and you do put on a significant amount of weight back. But, 130 pounds is a substantial amount of weight. This question is kind of hard for me I have had this, and I struggled with this when I was training for the marathon a couple years back. When I did increase my training, when I really, really started to embrace working out as a hobby and something that I really started to enjoy, and I was doing boot camp classes and running, 20-something miles a week and weight training, I struggled a little bit with how my diet should represent those changes, like what my new dietary needs were, because they were so different because I was so much more active than I was when I lost the weight. Because when I lost the weight, I really wasn't working out. I was active. I took the stairs. I walked. I went to the park. But I wasn't training. I wasn't lifting weights. I wasn't doing hour workouts, 5 to 6 times a week. So there is a huge difference. And I think your best bet is probably to go to talk to a dietitian or a nutritionist. That's something that I never did, and maybe I should have. I have a friend who's a trainer, so I kind of bounced some ideas off of him. And I kind of just did what was intuitive, and I got to a point with the training where I'd stopped looking at the scale. I wasn't evaluating success that way anymore, and I guess I was working out so much, I really just, again, from my opinion and my experience, I really just tried to eat as healthy as I could to give myself energy to be able to do the workouts. And then, of course, enjoying the fact that I'm burning a little bit of extra calories now and then, with not being so stringent with a plan. And I think that's kind of what you earn when you get to that point where you really embrace exercise. So I understand what it is that you're asking, and I understand how for some of us who have lost a significant amount of weight and then embraced a more active, true training lifestyle where you're really, you're training for half marathons and marathons and you're running consistently and you're lifting weights, there's definitely a mind shift that happens or has to happen from I'm eating to lose weight to I'm eating to fuel my workouts. And I actually remember, I think it was last year, I went, it might have been 2 years ago, time is flying by, but I went to an event at Nutrilite, and I will link to the old post. I even think I have some videos that I recorded. And I remember specifically asking them a question, like Nutrilite, they're kind of a supplement company, and I remember they had a product like those energy gels or those jelly beans that runners have on, when they're doing a marathon, like there's some goo or there's. I never really embraced those kinds of things, so I'm not that familiar with a lot of them. But I remember asking this question of the dietitian that was there and presenting to us, and she was talking about how important it was to refuel during your workout and this and that, and I kind of interrupted her and I said, my readers and my audience are really in the weight loss mindset. And there's kind of two different worlds here because, of course, those things you're taking in a large amount of calories to give yourself energy to maintain your run or your race or whatever it is that you're training for. And the weight loss mentality is to take in less calories so that you create a deficit, so that you actually lose weight. So you actually want the deficit. But the person who's training doesn't want the deficit. They want all the energy that they can get so they can sustain their training. So there's definitely two worlds there, and you have to shift from one to the next. And I really do think it's hard when you come from a place of weight loss for so long. So, I would recommend, Heather, that you talk to a dietitian or maybe get a consultation online or find a trainer that you can kind of bang heads with and share with them your workout routine and maybe get some, if it makes you feel more comfortable, then get them to kind of do a write-up or a plan that would actually show you what it is that you need to be taking in to maintain your current training level. I'm sure they'll have recommended calorie intakes and recommended protein and carbohydrates to maintain what it is that you're training for. So I would seek some professional help there if it's something that you really feel like you need that structure. For me, I much rather kind of try to do it intuitively because I don't want the structure to backfire on me. And there's been times where my trainer has presented to me eating plans and I kind of threw them out the window because once I got to this point of, training for a specific body type or to get leaner legs or whatever I'm training for, my old thought process comes back of I'm trying to seek some kind of body image, and that always backfires for me. That's just the way I'm wired. If I'm ever dieting or exercising to reach a certain body or a body image, without fail, I fall back into the cycle of like yo-yoing, where I feel great, I'm doing really good, and then I start wanting to binge, and it brings back kind of old demons for me. So I much rather take an intuitive approach, but that's just my opinion. So Heather, I hope that helps a little bit. I would, if you need that structure, I would definitely seek that out from someone, so from a professional who can actually help give you some calorie constraints and those kinds of things. Okay, I'm going to move on. Did I answer that whole question? Taking a deep breath. Let me refuel the oxygen in my body. All right, next question is from Sarah. And Sarah says, Roni, quick question. I love quick questions. How did you get started with weightlifting? What was your first routine at the gym? I really want to start lifting weights, but I don't know how to start. Thanks for your time, Sarah. Okay, Sarah. I'm on like a workout question answering session this time around. Weightlifting. And I feel during this pregnancy my weightlifting has totally plummeted. It really has. But I got started about 3 years ago. I joined the Y. And they had these Nautilus machines, and I'm sure you guys know what I mean, like the machines that have all the wires and pulleys, and they have like the weights connected to them. Well, they have on them, pictures of what you're supposed to be doing, so you can kind of go from machine to machine. And I was lucky because the Y that I joined had this system, and I cannot for the life of me remember what it was called. It was like body something, where you can go sit down in the machine and plug in your code, and then it would tell you how many reps to do, and it would track it all for you. It was really, really cool. But I mean, you could do it with paper. You don't really need the machine. But really, the way I got started was using the Nautilus machines. And I would do, if I remember correctly, I would do upper and lower body. So I would just do all of the upper body machines, one workout. And then the next time I would go to the gym, I would do all the lower body machines. And I would just track how many reps I was doing. I would shoot for, I think, 3 sets of 12. And I would just pick a weight where it was, it was hard for me to get those last 2 reps in, where I was really kind of struggling at the end. And that's really how I started. I just started on those Nautilus machines. And I can dig up some old posts where I was toying with the idea of going into the free weight room, because the free weight room is so intimidating. I still find the free weight room really intimidating. It's usually filled with these huge muscle-bound guys. Nobody talks to one another. It's cold and quiet, and everyone has headphones on, and I don't know, it's just like you're walking into like it's just uncomfortable. Right? But luckily, again, there was a female trainer at the Y, and I mentioned to her that I was thinking about doing it, and so I signed up for like their lowest trainer session, because personal training sessions are very expensive. But I think if you can swing even just a few sessions, like 2 to 3 sessions, it might be worth it to have someone with you get over the fear of the free weight room. So she helped me get over my fear of the free weight room. I'm not totally over it, but it was definitely helped walking into the free weight room with a woman who knew what she was doing. And then, she taught me a few free weight routines, and I started to use the bench and things like that. But I think starting on the Nautilus machines as well. I mean, as long as you're working out and using resistance, it doesn't matter, it doesn't really matter, I don't think, Nautilus or free weight for the everyday person who's just trying to get fit. If you're training for something, a lot of people have a lot of different philosophies on why free weights are better or why Nautilus are better, and I don't get into those details. I think if you're moving and you're working out, thumbs up, right? So I would start on the Nautilus machines. And there's tons of people that go around the gym with their little notebook. Get a little notebook, and maybe scope out the machines first, and look, and then create your own routine. So you're going to do these 5 machines for your upper body and these 5 machines for your lower body. And I think that might really help you. And then track your progress. So check off which ones you've done, and that might be a really easy way for you to kind of break into the weight training and not feel so overwhelmed. And then maybe because I know I tend to, then I'll meet a few people at the gym. Oh, another way to break into it, now that I'm thinking about it, is my gym has, I can't remember what they're, body sculpt classes, I think they're called. Check your classes at the gym, because some of the gym classes are actually weight training classes. And they'll do everything with a bar and free weights, and like actually set up steps and stuff like that, and so you can learn how to use some of the free weights. So check your gym too, because you might be surprised to find that some of the classes offered at your gym are actually weight training classes, and they're just grouped weight training classes. And that's what I transitioned to actually last year when I changed gyms and I didn't have a trainer, and I started looking for the weight training classes. So, because I found that after I started on the Nautilus machine, after a while I didn't like them as much because I got used to the free weights. And so finding that class really helped me too. So check for classes at the gym. See if you can find any weight resistance classes or weight training classes. And if you want, scope out all your Nautilus machines and grab some guy at the gym that's working, or some girl that's friendly who's working, and ask them to show you around the Nautilus machines. I mean, that's their job. They're there to kind of help you, and if you don't know how to use one, or even ask a fellow person at the gym. I'm surprised, actually. I get asked all the time, like, how to use certain machines, just because they see my face and they know that I'm there a lot, I guess. Before I got pregnant, I was there a lot. But you get the idea. So I hope that helps, Sarah. I definitely try to overcome that fear of weight training. I think it's one of the best things you can do. I really actually miss it, and there's really no excuse why I'm not doing some minor, and I'm doing some basic lifting with like 5-pound hand weights, but I really would like to get back into like some really good weight training, like doing it 3 times a week and taking it seriously again. There's something really empowering about weight training for me, and I think just the fact that I was training with weights, my body image increased. I felt good about myself. There's something, I felt muscular. I didn't think my body changed that much, but mentally it helped me change. I felt strong and powerful, and it's definitely confidence building once you take on a weight training habit. Definitely confidence building. Okay, I'm going to move on to Melissa is next, and Melissa has a really long question, so you have to bear with me as I read Melissa's question. She starts off with, first off, I love your blog, Roni. You are so honest and relatable. Before I get into my question, I want to give you a brief background of my weight. And I love when I get backgrounds of the, because I really do love to relate to everybody. It's great. All right, Melissa's been doing Weight Watchers for most of her life. I was always a chubby kid, but my weight really skyrocketed in my preteen and early teen years. By the time I was 14, I weighed 185 pounds. I'm 5'4". At this point, my mom and I joined Weight Watchers together. By the time I was 16, I was down to 135 pounds. For most of college, I managed to hover between 135 and 145, despite the all-you-can-eat cafeteria, which I knew very well. After my 21st birthday, my weight started to increase again. There were new temptations: beer pong, late night pizza, cheese fries at the bar, all of which I am also very familiar with. I also started dating my now fiance around this time, and he also enjoyed and encouraged these fine delicacies. So does mine, by the way. By the end of senior year, I was up to 160 pounds. I started grad school, moved in with another girl who was Weight Watchers savvy, started counting points, and lost 25 pounds. After my first 2 years of grad school, last year, I moved in with my now boyfriend, and the weight has started to creep back on. We've been living together for a year, and I've gained almost 10 pounds. That's not too bad. We also got engaged and are getting married next May. Not only do I want to look thin for my wedding, but I feel like I'm at the top of a slippery slope. I'm going to be living with this man for the rest of my life. I can't figure out how to eat healthy now when I was... Wait. If I can't figure out how to eat healthy now, when will I? It's not that he discourages me from eating healthy, but he brings all these temptations into the house. I try to cook most nights, but struggle with portion, and we get carry out quite a bit. I'm sorry, I'm internally laughing because it sounds just like my situation with my husband. Okay, I'm sorry, Melissa, I will continue. I also sometimes get in a mindset like, he loves me and he wants to be with me forever, who cares if I eat this ice cream? And he doesn't really care, but when my pants start to get tight, I care. When I lost weight at previous points in my life, I always had a partner, my mom, my grad school roommate. But now I feel very alone and I'm struggling to make good choices. What is your advice on living with someone who doesn't share your same eating habits that you strive for? Thanks so much, and sorry for the long message. All right. I love this question because, oh my gosh, I live with someone who doesn't share my eating habits at all and has no desire to. Actually, this day at lunch, we had a slight argument, a friendly argument, because he wanted to go out to eat lunch. And we just ate lunch out. Now, I wasn't here yesterday because I was in New York, and he got McDonald's. The day before, let me think, we went out. Yeah, we went to Kentucky Fried Chicken because he wanted to go and I kept him company. The day before that, we went to a local sub shop down the road that we really like. So it's 3 days in a row that he ate at lunch. So what does he do today? He comes downstairs and says, "Where are we going for lunch today?" And I'm like, "Nowhere. We have food in the house. We can't eat out every day. First of all, financially, it's killing us. Second of all, I don't want to eat out every day. I just don't." I'm like, I have leftovers in the fridge from last night's dinner. I have lots of good stuff. I made this awesome pear. I'll have to. Hold on. Sorry, computer issues. I made this awesome pear and turkey sandwich that I put on Greenlight Bites. I was like, I don't want to go out and eat. I'm fine. I'm good. But he actually ended up not going out to eat. But we have these battles like this all the time. And for me, there's 2 reasons why I don't want to eat out a lot. Financially, I mean, really, it does. It totally kills us. it's really expensive to eat out, especially because I'm stocking the house not to eat out, so we're doubly paying money. And then two, I like to cook, and I want to have control over, not total control, like I do enjoy eating out, but I want more control over what it is that I put in my body, and I like to make my own meals because of that reason. It's easier for me to, I don't know, to feel good about myself. It's kind of a weird thing. But he has zippy of that desire. So, Melissa, I completely understand where you're coming from. And I think there's definitely a balance that has to happen. And I say this all the time about the husband. I love him for everything he is and everything he is not. And so I know what I know about him, right? And you have to embrace it, but you also have to stand up for yourself. Like, you stand for your ground. So like today, there are some times I succumb and I go, yeah, sure, I'll go out with you. And then I just make the best choice I can, and it's not the end of the world. And then there's other times where I'm like, you know what? No, if you want to go, feel free. But, I'm going to make myself some lunch today. And you have to learn how to have that balance in yourself, to know kind of when it's all right for you to give a little bit and just kind of go with the flow, and when it's okay for you to pull back a little bit and say, you know what, I need to do this. And our house is stocked. It's stocked with awesome, healthy stuff that I buy all the time, like fruits and vegetables and bags of spinach and pears and all this great stuff. And what kills me is he'll say, we don't have anything to eat. And I look over and I'm like, there's a bowl of nuts, there's a fruit basket, there's all these great things. And in his mind, there's nothing to eat because there's no chips, there's no cupcakes, there's no Ritz crackers, which are his three big go-tos. So we definitely have completely different styles. And I think part of learning kind of that healthy, balanced lifestyle is that you have to learn how to navigate that. And so, you're asking, my advice is to set ground rules. Give him his own, the husband has his own shelf in the pantry. I don't even look up there. It's his shelf. I will buy him one or two things when I go grocery shopping, things that I know that he likes and that are not temptations for me. So I don't really get all giddy about tasty cake, chocolate cupcakes. I'd rather make my own. I'm just not a big fan, right? So I'll pick him up a package of those now and then, or he likes these chips. They're horrible. Taste-wise, I just don't like the flavor. They're like a Carolina-style barbecue. They're kind of like a vinegar barbecue. I hate them. So I buy him those. Again, I know that he likes them, and I don't. So again, it's not a temptation. So I will buy him a few of those things that aren't a temptation to me. And that usually carries us over. If there's anything else that he wants, then I tell him he's on his own. If he wants to go out and pick out a bag of Doritos or whatever at the 7-Eleven, that's fine. He buys it, and then I just kind of, I don't know, compartmentalize my brain to think I didn't buy it, so we don't have it in the house kind of thing. It's kind of little mind tricks I play with myself. So, but give him his own closet. Give him a drawer in the fridge where he buys his own stuff, but he puts it in there, and let him know that this is really important to you. Like, the husband knows how important it is for me. I mean, he also knows from experience, and this might just be because we've been together longer than you and your fiance. He knows how I was pre-weight loss, and how miserable I was, and how unhappy I was with myself. And like your fiance, he didn't care. He doesn't care that I was 40 pounds overweight or 50 pounds overweight. Gosh, if it was up to him, he'd rather me 50 pounds overweight and eating all junk food with him. I don't know. But, so that's not our issue, and it sounds like that's not your issue at all. So, but he also now knows how much happier I am, and how much more confident I am, and how much better our relationship is because I love myself so much more. That sounded funny, but you guys know what I mean. I am way more confident than I was when I was 25 years old. And so I think, letting him know that, and letting him know that this is important to you is huge. And you need to set some ground rules and let him have his own spot, let him have his own treats, and you create your environment. And you'll never have a perfect environment. So you've been lucky in the past to have your mom and your roommate to help you. But life it's kind of a lonely journey most of the time. Get that need, that desire to have someone do it. You find an online buddy, start a blog, go to Twitter. There are tons of ways for you to get the support that you don't need to get it from your partner. And I actually kind of think that sometimes having a separate outlet where you're getting support in one area of your life that your partner doesn't meet that need is kind of a good thing. Like for me, my whole outlet is the blog, and I have Twitter friends, and I have relationships with people online that do share my desire and interest in healthy living and exercise and running. So that gives me that connection with other human beings that aren't my partner. And then my partner, we have all the other things we have in common. We do music and movies, and we have our kids, and we do family things, and it's great. But I also think it's really important for you to have your own outlets. So I feel like I'm getting into relationship advice, but I really do think it helps. So seek some support online, set some ground rules, let your husband know how important this is to you, and give him space and really just communicate. It's really the only way. That was such a great question because it's so where I am with my husband. And let me tell you, we've been married. Our 10-year anniversary is this April. And we were together for 6 years before that. So we've been together for 16 years. And sometimes I also remind myself that I have to remind myself that I'm the one who's changed. Like, he didn't marry someone who went running in the morning and made their own pizza dough and invented funny sandwiches with pears on them. He didn't marry that person. He married, a 20-year-old beer drinking, go to the bar, let's get midnight snacks let's order pizza at 2 a.m. kind of, college girl. So sometimes you have to put it in perspective that you're the one who may be changing, and I think it's important to know that not everyone, especially people that you're in a relationship with, they're not required to change with you. You have to, part of a relationship is growing together, but it's also acknowledging that people also grow differently. Do you know what I mean? All right, so I'm going to go. I could blab about this question all day, and I just realized that I'm actually out of time, and I think I only covered 4 questions today, but I'm going to cut it not to go over my 30-minute mark. Plus, I have a little guy downstairs that I need to go play with. So, thanks for listening this week, guys, and I'm sorry if I blabbed a little bit. I'll be back next week, and I promise not to forget that it's Friday, and maybe I'll have more sunlight in my office. And I guess that's it. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next week. Bye.